Hey, you're listening to Smoke Meat. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat's brought to you today by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Joe's is such a great place. They just treat everybody like family. Such great people. Jeremy and the gang always make sure you have a good time, so I goes to Joe's and make sure you do too. Corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia. Our guest today is Nick, one of the hosts of the Fancounters podcast. They've had all kind of great interviews. He's going to tell me some really good stories today. So let's get this beast kicked off here on Smoked Meat. Hey, how the hell are you today, Nick?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
I've heard you say that before on your show.
Oh, yes. It's kind of turning into a trademark. I didn't realize it, but this is kind of my standard response. And
well, it's not a standard one for everybody to have heard, so it's good.
This is true. This is true. So I hear Fancounters is kind of blowing up, man.
We're doing well, yeah. We have a little bit of an edge because we get celebrities on our show every week. So sometimes they will actually promote the episode for us, and that's when we see our audience spike. So, yeah, it's been really fun. Our hook of our show with these celebrities is, we'll talk about their career highlights and funny stories and things like that, but really we want to know what fan encounters are like with them, hence the name Fancounters. So you might go to a concert and be like, oh, yeah, I met, fill in the blank, and they were awesome. But, was that encounter awesome to the celebrity? And that's what we find out. And
Nice.
so we've gotten some great stories over the years.
Nice. Yeah, I know there's probably some really wild ones because not everybody is just what I call a normal fan where they're, hey, nice to meet you. I'm happy I saw this. It was great, and you got some people, I've got you tattooed as a tramp stamp.
Exactly. Or they think that, you're somehow magically related because they've been watching on TV for 10 years and they think that, you should know everything about them or you should be comfortable with them. And just because they've seen you on TV, that doesn't mean that they know who you are, and people forget that.
Yeah, when
they get so connected.
They probably walk up to you and ask you like your 6-year-old daughter's how she's doing. How's Pearl today? That would be creepy. I'd be like, security. Oh yeah. Yeah. Before we kick off on the podcast, I hear you're a filmmaker.
I do. I have made 6 feature films. I started back in 2008 with a little film called Tomorrow for $1, and we did really well with that. What's funny about that film is that it was the first time anybody involved with that film had made a film. So we were kind of all figuring it out together. And it ended up screening at the Tribeca Theaters in New York City for the Independent Features Film Festival as one of their headline movies of that year in 2008. So that was a really good start. And then from there, we just kind of rode those coattails of success and started to get budgets, and not big budgets, but enough to not have to pay out of pocket, and made 5 more features after that.
Nice. I know. I bet none of them were like that first one though, because I know, I got a wild hair a little while back and just decided to start doing videos. Not feature length or anything, just little things here in the studio.
Okay.
And I had never done anything like that before. I had bought my wife a green screen because she likes to do photography, and I kind of commandeered it and some of her lights, and just started doing little character videos. I don't know if you've seen my YouTube or not. It's Brad's Comedy, all one word. But,
I've heard about it. I haven't seen the videos yet.
Yeah, one of my characters, and actually one of my videos was featured on a show called the Living Room Lockdown Challenge, or Living Room Lockdown Show, excuse me.
Oh, wow.
And there's a clown named Murray. He was the first one I did, and he's the only one that I've done that I actually knew who he was and what he was going to be and do. But because
otherwise, it's all improv on your end?
Yeah, every bit of it. The characters, I never knew who they were until I put on the mustache or the wig or whatever, and then I knew. And it's all one take and all improv.
Well, I got some homework now.
Yeah, you'll like the Christmas special I did. It actually introduced a new character during that, a guy named Wayne.
Cool.
But yeah, I've actually got to film sometime this weekend. I do like the hot peppers, like the Reapers and those things. I do those. And
wait a minute, you're eating hot peppers?
Yeah, I eat those. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you are from Georgia. Holy cow.
Well, I tell you, about a month ago, or when this thing first started, I posted an Amazon list with all the little challenges on it and different hot sauces I wanted to try. And I posted that and I said, anybody orders anything from it, I'll video while I'm doing it, and you can pick the character and what I'm doing. And I've had a couple of people actually send me stuff. One of them was a thing called the Toe of Satan, which is a lollipop that's made out of pure extract, which is about 9 million Scoville units.
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
And you ate it.
yes. And I did it as Wayne reading The Little Engine That Could.
Huh.
And
Okay, I definitely have got to check this out.
I love hot stuff, but that thing was ridiculous. The little engine couldn't. Oh, it was
He
rough.
couldn't.
Yeah.
Well, I'll live vicariously through you because I'm not going to try any of that
Oh, man,
stuff.
that
I'm a
thing was
weenie.
ridiculous. But there's another thing out right now called the White Chocolate Challenge.
Okay.
And it doesn't have extract in it, but there's a new pepper made by the same guy who made the Carolina Reaper, and it's called Pepper X. And it is ridiculous. I've had the peanuts with it on there, and it's rough.
Wow.
But this thing is a square of white chocolate, and it's got 12 of the world's hottest peppers in it. 6 of them are variations on Pepper X.
Okay, so you've done a lot of these things. I just have to ask the question because I've never been able to. Why? Why do you put yourself through this? Is it the taste? Is it just to conquer it? I mean, I'm worried you're going to end up in the hospital.
People need to laugh.
Okay,
People
that's
need
good.
to laugh.
Yep.
But yeah, this one, the guy that sent it to me, he wants me to do my Clown Murray reading 50 Shades of Grey while I'm doing this thing. So that's going to be fun.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it's going to be interesting. Keep your eyes peeled for that one.
At least you know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. Yeah. And normally I don't eat the hottest stuff. I do like hot sauce and hot peppers because, I mean, I just like them. But there's an art to cooking and doing stuff with those where, yeah, you get some of the heat, but you get flavor too, and it doesn't make it a miserable thing.
Yeah.
Now, the
That's
challenges
why
are
I
just
enjoy
miserable.
jalapenos, especially when I'm smoking them, and I'll put the jalapenos on the top of the ribs,
Oh, yeah.
and you just get that little bit of heat, but it doesn't seep in.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Have you done candied jalapenos yet?
Oh, I have. Yep.
Oh, they're
Yep. I think
amazing.
they call those Texas candy or something
Yeah,
like that.
cowboy candy. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep, they are amazing. Uh, but no, whenever I'm cooking with hot stuff around here, I don't use the ridiculous stuff. I'll make stuff with jalapeno or habanero at the most around here because my wife and kids aren't real big on really hot stuff, and I can
Uh-huh.
dig it.
Yeah, it seems like only one person out of every family tends to dig all the hot stuff, and everybody else has to just kind of deal with it. And they're thinking, man, this is really hot, and you're like, this is nothing. This is like a 2 on my spice scale.
Yeah, yeah.
And
No,
the kids
no,
will freak out over that stuff.
no. We do have a horseradish. I'm actually out of it, and I've got to order some more. It's called nasal napalm, and it is possibly the hottest horseradish I've had, but it is so good. My wife even likes it because it's a nice, strong horseradish.
Well, it'll clean out your sinuses.
Oh, it'll clean out the guy next to your sinuses. Oh man, but it's so good. But I ordered that from a place called the Pepper Palace, and it's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I know you told me you had submitted a pilot. So
Yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of
So
pilot you got?
in 2010, the follow-up film to Tomorrow for a Dollar was called Diary of an Ex-Child Star. So you can still get that movie on Amazon along with Tomorrow for a Dollar. But Diary of an Ex-Child Star followed a girl who was a teenager, and her show is at the height of its popularity when it gets canceled. So instead of just going back and getting another show, her parents decided to move her back to her small hometown, far away from California. And then she's got to live a normal life. So if you remember back then, and you're kind of older, and you got boys, I think, right?
I got girls.
Oh, you
Yeah.
got girls, so you know all about Hannah Montana,
Oh, dude, I
the
put
Disney
Hannah
Channel show.
Montana through college and bought her first car.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Well, so the premise of that show is the fact that she was a star trying to hide who she was.
Hmm.
Our premise, we flipped that and made it where this teenager could not escape who she was and had to kind of deal with being popular and famous in a very small setting. So that's kind of what the film was about. And we thought this would make a really good dramatic television series, something for like an ABC Family or maybe even a Nickelodeon like drama series kind of thing. So I started contacting a lot of former child stars sending them the movie and pitching it. And it got the attention of Beverly Mitchell from Seventh Heaven. She was interested pretty much right away. And from there, we started getting on the phone and talking out the whole character development and where the series could go. And we decided that the movie script wasn't strong enough to pitch, that we had to rewrite it as a pilot so we could shape it and form it the way that they thought could sell. And so we did that over a series of months and did get to pitch it to networks like the Disney Channel and Nickelodeon. And we pitched it several times, but unfortunately, nothing ever came out of it. The funny thing is, every couple of years, I hear from them and they're like, hey, there's renewed interest in the show. Now I've gotten to the point where I kind of disregard those emails because nothing has ever happened. It's almost been a decade. So I think that television has moved in a different direction from what we were pitching all those years ago. But certainly it was a fun experience and something that shaped, my knowledge of the industry in a different direction.
Yeah. Well, one good thing about now, as opposed to 10 years ago, you got Netflix and Amazon and Hulu and all these streaming places that are just starving for content right now.
Yeah, especially they're going to be too. And you can see that with network television now with this coronavirus shutdown. Everything is just, nothing new has been coming out, obviously, because anything that they've been holding on to, the series have come to their season end. So as soon as production can ramp up, I think it's going to be still a couple months behind to where we actually see new things on television. So it's a good time to catch up on all these shows. One of them that I found was called The Man in the High Castle. I don't know if you've seen this on Amazon Prime, but that's a fascinating show about what would have happened if the United States lost World War II. So the Nazis took over the east side of the country and Japanese on the west side. And it's intriguing. I'm only on season 2, but that's a show that my wife and I have been binging just because there's nothing real new happening right now.
I tell you, I found something. I actually found it through the podcast. You remember Sean Kanan played the bad guy, Mike Barnes, in Karate Kid 3?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, he, went on. He did several soap operas, and he's had a great career. And he is doing a show right now called Studio City, and it's on Amazon Prime. And it's really short episodes. It's a strange format. It's like 10 or 15 minute long episodes, and it's about an aging soap star. And it doesn't really concentrate on the show, but more about his life, and it's really good. And
that's something I would be interested in checking out.
Right now, it's only about 6 or 7 episodes, because once again, the corona, throws the kibosh on everything. But talking to him, he's wanting to put him into normal length episodes now and get this thing going. And it's when they asked me to watch it for the podcast, I thought, yeah, I'll watch it. I'm about soap operas, and at the end of it, I was like, damn it, I want more.
Wow,
but it's really good. Sean did a great job, But yeah, binge watching. Oh, been there, and I'm so sad because I have things like Sons of Anarchy. I've watched it probably 5 or 6 times all the way through. Breaking Bad, the old Showtime show Weeds. I've watched
Weeds was great.
Now,
yep.
I'm actually going through it about the 9th time right now.
Wow.
But yeah,
I don't think I've watched any show 9 times, but certainly I watched Weeds all the way through.
Yeah, I'm pitiful, man. I'll watch something and I'll finally find something new and I'll get done with it and have that big sense of emptiness, that just hole in me somewhere because it's over.
Yeah.
And while I'm trying to figure out what else to watch, I said, well, I'm going to watch an episode of this, and then I'll start binging it again.
Yeah, there's not a lot of shows where I felt really sad things have ended. Dexter was one of them. Like, when that was done, I really just wanted it to keep going forever. It didn't matter how many times he didn't get caught. Yeah. I still wanted to see more.
Yeah. Yeah. And, that's the mark of a great show, that makes the people, they want to see it. They want to see more of it. They're not concerned with, okay, they did this about 17 seasons ago. Who cares?
Right. Yep.
But and I know I saw on the Fancounters page one show that you've done a couple of people from, and it's an old show. 99% of my audience and your audience probably never saw it live, or what I say live, but new episodes. But I guarantee if anybody has any sense of history, they have seen it. on TV somewhere, and that's Leave It to Beaver. That is so
Yeah.
cool with Jerry Mathers on there, you know.
We have been having a really good time reuniting the cast of the new Leave It to Beaver
Hmm.
on the Fancounters podcast. We started with Jerry Mathers, we had Tony Dow on that new Leave It to Beaver show. Tony's wife was named Janice Kent, so Janice Kent was on the show. Then their daughter on the show was Kalina Kiff. She joined us. Beaver's sons Kip Marcus joined us, and then just last week we put out an episode with Christian and Eric Osmond, the sons of Ken Osmond,
Man,
which we actually taped about 2 weeks before Ken died.
yeah, I was fixing to say, we
And
just lost Ken.
yeah, we were trying to get him on the show. In fact, I was emailing his wife back and forth for like 2 months in March and April. I figured with the coronavirus and everything, everybody was sitting at home doing nothing anyway.
Yeah,
But even then, his health was not so good. Where she even told me, she says his health is all physical and not mental, thank goodness. So it seemed like he was there mentally to the end,
yeah.
but had a lot of physical limitations, which made him not want to do an interview. So that was sad because I really was excited to kind of round out the stars of that show on our podcast. But
Mm,
we've pretty much got everybody else around that show already on the show. So
yeah.
they've been really fun.
Yeah, and it's funny, you know, if you look back at some of mine, I've done a lot of people who haven't done a lot of things for a long time. But, you know, for me, a lot of them are my childhood people. And
Hmm.
I look at it this way, everybody has something to offer. And I've had a
Yeah.
lot of fun with it. I would love to do Jerry and Tony. That would be so cool.
Jerry Mathers is really easy to interview and easy to contact.
Hmm.
He does a lot of podcasts. I think he just really enjoys talking about the show, and it's not really just him reminiscing about his glory days, but he knows that people want to talk to him about it.
Yeah,
People still have questions about a show that premiered like 50 years ago. It's crazy,
yeah,
and he'll answer anything. He's an open book, and he's totally, all there as far as his memories of. I mean, he can remember the most random facts, and you learn something different. And I've listened to a lot of Jerry Mathers interviews.
mm,
You learn something different in every single one.
nice, nice. Yeah, I know when I've got somebody, I try and make it a point. Well, I did it first, you know. One, don't fanboy out because that'll make it a really short episode.
Right.
And I figure the first time you get somebody big on your show and you go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, then they're gonna leave. But at first, I didn't want to, you know, like when I had Scott Schwartz on the show, you know, everybody knows him as the kid that put his tongue on the pole.
With the flagpole, yeah.
And I didn't want to concentrate on that because I thought, man, he's probably so tired of that. He probably just wants to cut down every flagpole he's ever seen. And toward the end of it, you know, I asked him, I said, all right, I got to address the elephant in the room. He said, what's that? I said, the flagpole. And he was happy to talk about it. When I talked to him afterwards, he's like, I know people are going to ask about it. I've come to peace with it. It's part of what I am. You know, I'm happy to answer these. And I figured out they're happy to answer questions about things. And if they're not, people will tell you. So that's pretty neat. You know, I'm finally getting more refined and understanding. Okay, this person was this character, and they're proud of it. And okay, let's roll with it.
Yeah, early on, I don't think we ever really felt starstruck around one of our guests.
Mm-hmm.
Everything seems pretty natural. The one that I was really excited about most recently was Richard Karn that I had on.
Yeah.
Great guy, Steve Joyner. He helped me get him on the show. And with Richard Karn, it was funny because when you think of him, you think of
Tim Allen.
Yeah, Home Improvement. So I started out my interview with him and I said, all right, let's get this out of the way. I said, let's talk about the role you're most famous for. And that was, and I forget the character's name, in Something Something for Christmas. And he just laughed because I was talking about his Christmas movies he did for the Hallmark Channel as his, marquee role. So that was kind of a fun way to break the ice and not go right into the Home Improvement stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really helped, make him more comfortable on the show because he got to talk about something probably not everybody's asking him about.
Oh, oddly enough, you know, when one of my favorite movies that he's ever done was one of the Hallmark Christmas movies, Christmas Land.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I love that
I think
movie.
this one was Check Into Christmas that we had talked about. I mean, he's done a bunch. And I'm a sucker for those Hallmark Christmas movies.
Yeah,
I don't
well,
miss them.
I live with a wife and two teenage daughters. Man, I've got to watch them because if I don't, then there's nothing to watch.
Well, then during the holiday season, you're not spending any time with them if you're not watching those movies.
Yeah, yeah. So we do the Hallmark movies. And I really make them mad when I tell them I know what's going to happen because of the formula.
Right.
And they finally told me we don't care about the formula. We like the show.
Right.
Like, okay,
Exactly.
but this is what's going to happen. Shut up. It is so much fun. Who has been one of your favorite? If you had, besides Richard, if you had to pick somebody that was just such an amazing interview that you just weren't expecting.
Well, have you watched the WE TV series Love After Lockup?
I've seen little pieces of it, but I hadn't seen a whole episode
Brett,
of it.
you are missing a gem of a show. We have been lucky enough to team up with Sharp Entertainment, and we have been interviewing pretty much all of the cast of that show from the multiple seasons. And the stories that these people can tell you, I mean, they're reality TV stars, yes, but the fact that some of them have been in jail, and if they haven't, then they're dating the person in jail. Like the stories that these people pull out are very fascinating. So we've done kind of a reunion of those. Sometimes we get on themes where we'll pick the show and then we just start getting all of the people on it. But the one interview this is one that it took me, I would say, a year and a half to land. I had started talking about this guest probably like November, around Thanksgiving time of whatever year, but I didn't get him until a year and a half later. It took that long, and that would be the first. I think he was the first winner. No, he wasn't. He was like the second or third winner of America's Got Talent, and I'm talking about Terry Fader. He's that ventriloquist with the
Yeah,
puppets.
he sings.
He's like one of the most successful America's Got Talent winners ever because not only did he start the whole Las Vegas show thing, because remember that was his dream.
Yeah.
If he won America's Got Talent, he wanted to have a show in Vegas. He's been there ever since.
Yeah, and he's a big name there too.
Yeah, it was a really fun interview. And it was one where they're like, well, we can only give you 20 minutes. And long form podcasts, we like to go on for 30 minutes to an hour if we can have enough content.
Yeah.
But I had to really narrow down the questions so I could get right to it. And so he's got one of my very favorite celebrity stories because, we always ask our guests, what's your most memorable encounter with a fan? And he goes, it's really funny. He says it was before he had just won America's Got Talent and he flew into Las Vegas for the Jerry Lewis telethon. So as he did the telethon and everything, and he was at the airport just getting ready to board his flight, and this woman comes up and she's screaming. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And Terry says, I was at the MDA telethon. And she goes, I specifically came here to Las Vegas to go to the telethon hoping that I would run into a celebrity, and I finally did. And without missing a beat, Terry goes, oh yeah, who'd you run into? And she's like, you. And he goes, it's so weird. He goes, I don't, although I was on that TV show, he goes, I didn't, and I still don't consider myself a celebrity. Yeah. And those are the things like I find very fascinating because if you're in the spotlight, life is totally different for you. And I try and really find out what that's like for them because there's not many people that are real candid about the fact that I can't go to a grocery store, without being bothered.
Yeah.
And it's not that people are doing it because they're mean or whatever. It's just you don't expect to be grocery shopping and see somebody like Terry Fader or Bruce Willis or whoever walking down the aisle. You're going to fan out.
Yeah. I've been talking back and forth on Twitter with Diedrich Bader, from American Housewife, and mm-hmm. I've just always been a fan, and he is really good about talking to people on Twitter. And he did a post not too long ago where he was in the grocery store, and he found himself singing "Summer of '69" fairly loud, and looked up, and he was standing next to Clarence Williams III.
Oh my gosh!
So, I mean, you just don't imagine this. You imagine one celebrity in the grocery store, and all of a sudden they embarrass themselves in front of another one right there. And that would be so amazing.
Yeah. One of the other guests that I had that your daughters would probably really geek out about is Stephen Kramer Glickman. Mm-hmm. He was on Big Time Rush. He played Gustavo, the music producer of the band for Big Time Rush.
Yeah.
This is one of the weirdest interviews I ever had because normally when you ask about fan encounters, you think you're just going to get something about randomly seeing somebody on the set and, fans talking to them and that, but that's not the story I got from Steven. Steven told me that at the height of his fame with Big Time Rush, it was just him and single moms. And I thought, okay, where's the story going to go from here? He's the first celebrity to tell me that he would drive all over Southern California to hook up with the single moms and sleep with them. He said there was one time, there was a mom that he had, relations with the night before. He wakes up and he goes downstairs to cook the mother breakfast, unknowing that the kids were also there. Or he had to have known. But the kids come downstairs and they're like, Mom, what is Gustavo doing here from Big Time Rush? And he goes, I'm sleeping with your mom. Have a good day at school, kids.
Nice.
Never have I gotten actor or anybody to admit that they've had relations with fans before. And that was the first. That was pretty awesome. I think I was pretty speechless too. He goes, "That's not what you were expected to hear, was it?" I was like, "Nope," because I didn't think in this day and age somebody would admit that.
It's an amazing story. That I admire the honesty. That is such a beautiful thing.
Exactly. Yep.
He reminds me of a fire chief I used to have that I've known for years, and I love him like a brother. He'll tell you, I've never done anything that I regret. And he doesn't hide anything good, bad, or ugly about his past. And he's such a great guy. And Glickman sounds like the same thing.
Yeah, totally an open book. And I love that because then they're really not hiding anything. Now, he and his publicist probably had words after that interview, but it made for a really good, fun story.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, I saw where you did Chris Knight from the Brady Bunch. How did you land Peter? That's cool.
Well, it's a lot of casting and waiting, like you're fishing, right? So it just takes a long time to get to some of these people.
Yeah.
Christopher Knight, though, was pretty amazing. Every time we have a couple pages of questions, we're constantly crossing stuff off as we go through because we know that they don't have a lot of time or they're not going to give you a lot of time. But he did. I mean, he gave us 2 hours. He goes, I know you guys prepped really well for this interview, and if you've got more, just keep firing away. And at one point, we were interrupted by his doorbell. He had something happening at the door, and we just waited. It was really cool. Christopher Knight was a really good guy.
Yeah, he's doing furniture now, isn't he? Like full time.
Yeah, he designs furniture that can ship. So I think that's kind of weird because I would never buy like a couch or something that I've never sat in before.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it where that can package it for a low cost and ship it right to your door.
Nice.
But he had a good story because he has some of our favorite bathroom encounter stories that when celebrities get approached in the bathroom.
That happens a lot more than you think.
I think that's an odd place. Like I saw Dennis Haskins from Saved by the Bell in a bathroom.
Uh-huh.
And I waited till he got out of the bathroom before I approached him.
Yeah, I was listening to somebody the other day, and they said that they were eating somewhere, and so they got up, and they were eating alone, and got up and went to the bathroom, and as soon as he sat down, somebody came in, he heard a little tap on the door, and they said, "We're so sorry, we didn't want to bother you while you were eating." Like, really?
So they've bothered him in the bathroom?
Yeah.
Who was it?
I can't remember who it was. I will remember eventually, though.
Well, that's okay.
But it was hilarious. I think it wasn't Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, that would have been good.
Oh, man. I can't remember who it was. That's gonna drive me crazy. I got to remember now. But yeah, he did everything I've ever seen him in. He seems like he's a really down to earth guy, and just is for the fans because he gets it. The fans are who make you.
Oh, for sure. Yep. And those roles that they're so iconic in. I mean, he played Peter Brady for 20 years based on all the TV shows and specials and movies and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he embraces that as well. He knows that that's just a part of who he is. And, it's funny that I think it was him who said that some actors try and detach themselves from those iconic roles. And it's like, you're going to fight it more than if you would just embrace it and take it on, Yeah. This is something you did, and he certainly takes it on and makes the best of it.
Yeah, and that's cool, and I like when actors do that because I can imagine, being remembered just okay. I'm this person, and it's 30 years later. Come on, I've done so much other stuff, but at the same time, you got to sit and think these people remember what you did for 30 years ago and still love it. That's an
Yep.
accomplishment. That is not something everybody does.
Right. How many things do you want to know about from 30 years ago?
Exactly.
Probably not that many.
Exactly. And I love it when celebrities finally say, I'm just going to lean into it some, and things just seem to go smoother with them.
Now, I don't want to let your listeners down because they'll be like, well, what was the bathroom story? So let me just tell you
Oh
real
yeah, I
quick.
forgot about it. I get sidetracked easy. Look,
Oh, that's all
squirrel.
right. So Christopher Knight was at some bar that had, I don't know if you've ever been up here to Chicago with Wrigley Field where you're peeing in a trough, but similar situation. Apparently, this urinal was built into the wall. So it was just a bunch of guys hanging around this little trough thing doing their business. And that's what he found himself doing when a fan came into the bathroom. And he's like, oh my God, Peter Brady. And he slaps Chris Knight on the back, launches him kind of into the urinal. And before he knew it, he was already peeing on his shoe. So that was kind of like, you could have waited, dude, before you completely assaulted me into the urinal.
Yeah, and never walk up to one of the, because I've been in bars that have those. Never walk up to somebody, slap them on the back, and start your words with Peter.
Exactly.
Never
Now he
good.
tells the story a lot better than I did, so you can go back and listen. But yeah, Christopher Knight's a good guy.
Yeah, and like I say, I've looked back, and you've had so many great people on, and it's so much fun to do it. I've done podcasts where I interview celebrities, I interview other podcasters like now, and I've done solo things. And what's funny is right before the Corona thing hit, you can go back and there's one episode of it on my podcast. I was going to do kind of a radio play thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was called Alone, where basically the premise of it is this guy wakes up one morning and everybody's gone. I mean, the power's still on, everything's normal. Just he's the only person anywhere.
It's like the Rapture.
So he gets a ham radio, and the podcast is him trying to find somebody. And I added.
He's listening to a previously recorded episode of himself.
No, he's actually on there trying to. It's like. I'm recording him talking on the radio trying to get out to people.
Ah, that's cool.
And it was a really short one. It was just the first one, and I said, okay, we're going to develop this thing. And then all of a sudden the Corona thing hit. I'm like, nope, done with this.
Too real or what?
I don't know, but it was weird. But I think it'd be fun to do once all this stuff's over with and things get halfway normal.
I hope we get to that point again.
I do too. I'm elbow deep in this stuff, being a paramedic with the Corona and the riots and everything.
Yeah.
But I've got to say, the people near me with the riots, I'm so proud everybody has just taken the high road, and they protest, and I can understand that. God bless you. Everybody needs to protest sometimes.
Well, look, we also all need equal rights for everybody.
Exactly.
We're all human beings on this planet. We're working together. We're here together. I just always wonder with wars and all this stuff, why can't we all just seriously get along and enjoy our lives,
Yeah.
Why do we have to harass people and, target people for no reason? It just doesn't seem like there should be any place for that. So as far as getting equal rights and stereotypes and all that broken down, I mean, I'm all for it. We gotta work together and just be good people to each other.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, I'm the kind of guy, if I don't like you, I just leave you the hell alone. That's it.
I got a feeling you don't not like too many people, though.
Oh, you'd be amazed.
Really? Because I'm like,
but no,
I can't think of a lot of people I totally dislike. There's very few people.
But no, there's not a lot of people that I don't like. It just, when somebody does something you don't like or whatever, then you just ask yourself, A, is this hurting me or my family? And is it affecting us in any way bad? And is this any of my concern? And 99.999% of the time, the answer is nope.
Sounds like those are the same things we should be using when we're scrolling Facebook or something. Does this affect me? Nope, just keep on moving.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been on Facebook for almost 12 years now, and I'm so proud that I've not done anything political, anything, about the the thing that's happening right now that everybody's talking about. I've always just put stupid memes and stupid things on there. I remember one time, one of my biggest things I got on there, I just put a simple thing that said, corduroy pillows are making headlines. And that got so many likes and shares. I was like, really? Just that? But
Well,
it
look,
just tickled me.
we all need distractions right now,
Yeah.
and something to keep our moods and spirits. I mean, because everything's so serious, and if you could really easily get bogged down and depressed about it.
Yeah.
And you know, it's fun. You know, with me having twin 8-year-olds, the messages that our school puts out are just so simple and positive. And this year, they were trying to have the message spread of do great things, or no, do small things with great love. And
Nice.
that's kind of been the theme of our year. We're just trying to think of all these small things that we can do, put our love behind it, and just hope we can change the world in some small way.
Yeah. Well, whenever my daughters would go to school and I'd see them off in the morning, I'd tell them, have a good day and I love them. And I'd say, do great things. You're a Pittman. You can do this. And I would also tell them, do one thing to try and make somebody's day today, even if it's just say, I like your hair or I like your shoes, just something. I said, that little thing can make somebody's entire day. It can turn it around. And they do that. And it's pretty neat to know I had a hand in teaching them to do that.
That is a great parenting. That's great.
Yeah. This is the same dad that about a month ago, they were watching, they had gotten into Mama June, Not Too Hot.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I know a lot about that show.
Yeah, well.
Can't wait to hear what you're going to tell me.
Apparently, season 3 is not on demand for free.
Oh.
And they watched season 1 and 2, and then season 4. And I got a text from my youngest daughter about 2 o'clock one morning while I was at work. And I worried because they don't never text or call me that time of night. And I opened it up and it said, Dad, can we order season 3 from Amazon? It's only $20. I'm like, I'll talk to you in the morning. And I got home and I said, why do y'all want season 3? You've seen season 4. They said, yeah, but all the good stuff happens on 3.
Oh my gosh. I don't know what episodes happen in which season, but that show's a train wreck.
Oh, man. You know what's funny is I don't know where they're living at now, but I only live about 10 miles from where they were living when all that was going on.
Oh man, I would have been parking outside their house.
Oh man. Yeah, they from what I understand, they used to stay in the Walmart in the town where I work at.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I never encountered them.
That's too bad. I would have liked a story about that. That would have been fun.
Oh man, that would definitely be interesting.
Well, I did have I forget her name. Hannah Stark is the daughter. I can't remember what the mom's name was, but Hannah Stark was on the episode of the beauty pageant where Alana and Mama June, after she's hot, enter this beauty pageant, and they're real mean to her and everything. And we got the inside scoop from that show is that all those scenes with how mean Hannah was being to her was all just 100% scripted and fake. That they would do those scenes and then they go to lunch and sit together and have fun. And that's kind of, I know reality TV is not totally real, but I don't like to be presented with stuff that they say is real and it's all, all right, you're going to do this in this scene and this is what's going to happen. And, if you don't do it right, we'll just do it again. And it's like,
yeah,
that's not what we think. That's not what you're presenting us that we're watching. And I know I get mad and weird about silly things like that, but that one is kind of a pet peeve.
Yeah. And I know producers have to kind of steer things sometimes, but like I say, just don't get.
But they were
stupid
hired on
with
that
it.
show to be the mean girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Just don't be stupid. Don't think everybody is an idiot. We can suspend disbelief, but just
right.
Don't try and make us think we don't have to.
Yeah, and don't keep the story alive after things like confessions come out that it was fake. Oh no, that really happened. No, it didn't.
Yeah.
No, it didn't. These people might have broken their contract by speaking out, but it didn't.
Yeah. But I tell you, man, this world tickles me today. I remember when I was a kid, nothing. We didn't have reality TV. We had 3 channels. And I lived a little bit out in the country, so we only got two of them because one of them was way too snowy with her antenna. And the first time I saw cable, man, oh, I thought that was amazing. My cousins got HBO.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, you can watch movies at home? We were just so amazed by that. And now I'm like, yeah, I don't have HBO. I've got this one and this one. And
Yeah, well, but at that time too, when HBO was on, like those late night movies would be pretty, risque
oh, yeah,
for a
Skinamax.
young viewer. Yeah, Skinamax,
Oh, yeah.
and you'd always be sneaking down in the middle of the night to check out what was on. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that. Not that I ever did it. I remember people talking about that.
Oh, right.
And
Yes,
I
don't admit that.
remember people talking about scrambled porn.
Well, yeah, trying to see through mm, the static.
Oh, yeah. I think that's where you ever seen the ghost hunting shows and all those things where they'll have a video or a picture and they'll say, "Oh, that's matrixing." Where
That's matrixing.
yeah, we're like if you see a pattern in something, it looks like a face, but
Oh,
it's just a pattern and it's nothing, and it's your mind kind of fills it in. I think that's
that's
where
true.
where that came from was everybody watching scrambled porn back in the day.
Hey, look, I think I see something.
Exactly.
Hit pause.
Yep. Now, do you believe in ghosts?
I think that there's supernatural things out there, sure.
Okay. Have you ever done the ghost hunting thing?
No, well, okay, yes, I have. I was actually involved in a TV pilot called Teen Paranormal,
Mm-hmm.
and we went to, apparently there was these two teen mediums that could converse with the other side. So we went, actually, this is when I was living in Maryland, to the site where James Wilkes Booth was shot.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a historical site right now, but we were allowed in to stay overnight in this barn building. And apparently, while we were up filming in the top area, because I don't know why ghosts only come out at night, but anyway, we apparently had these teen mediums claim they crossed over some of the soldiers that were hanging around all this time. And I watched the footage over and over of them saying at what point this happened.
Mm.
I see nothing. I felt nothing when I was there. It was just so. I think that there's some spiritual things out there, but that's as far as being close to that experience. Somebody said they had the experience, and I was there, and I didn't have it.
Yeah. Well, I used to do the ghost hunting thing. A group of mine, we would go out and do them, and we had the boatload of the equipment and stuff. And I've got some really good EVPs. For people who don't know what that is the electronic voice phenomenon.
Mm-hmm.
And what's funny is yesterday I was editing a podcast. Matter of fact, it's after we talked, and I was editing a show yesterday, and at the beginning of it, I caught one.
Really?
Yeah.
On your end or theirs?
I'm not sure which end it was on, but it's a female whispering, and it was a female I was on with, but she was there alone, and she didn't whisper. And I was down here in my basement alone and didn't whisper. And I
What
don't
did it
sound like a
say?
female. I haven't edited enough or enhanced it enough to find out, but I'll actually send you a copy of the audio because
That'd be awesome.
I clipped
If you
it
hear
out.
anything on this end, you better let me know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I hear something coming through. It says, "Send Brad $1 million."
Oh, right. I hope that works.
That
I
would be
only take
amazing.
50%, so it's going to be a deal.
That would be amazing. Hey, somebody sends me $1 million, I will Western Union you half of it.
Okay, here we go, guys.
Oh, yeah.
The challenge is on.
You come through for me, internet. Prove that people listen.
Right.
But oh man, but yeah, we was talking about the back in the day. Another one I saw you did, and this was a huge part of my Friday night. Linda Gray from Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
That is so cool.
Yeah, Linda's, again, one of those older stars that is completely got the weirdest and most dynamic stories about her time on that show, and just kind of listening about her experience. Now, she didn't really have a lot of good fan encounters.
Mm-hmm.
She would tell me more stories about people would be like, well, I remember where I was when JR was shot and that kind of stuff. more of those kind of stories. But yeah, Linda was another person, very generous with her time, gave us a couple hours. We split it into 2 episodes. And one of the weirdest things I think she ever did that I learned in that interview is she was doing a play in London where she had to be on stage fully nude. And I'm like, big American star like that, I wouldn't think would just go and do that kind of show. And she goes, I was really nervous about it and how they were going to, light it. And she goes, it was 6 seconds, but it was like 6 seconds of, that felt like forever, six
Yeah.
minutes. And, those are some of the fun stories that you get to hear too. Just the behind the scenes of how they really felt when they had to take on a project. And it's like, well, why did you do something where you had to be nude? Because, I mean, for me, I would draw the line at that because, like, once you're nude on screen or something, you're there forever. So
Yeah.
it's something you got to really think about. But
Yeah.
yeah, Linda Gray is a sweetheart.
Yeah. I remember I was a kid then, and I had a light blue T-shirt with a picture of JR on the front of it, and it said, "I shot JR." I remember that T-shirt clearly, as if I were pulling it out of my drawer right now.
I will call Linda Gray out though because she was going to hook me up with a Patrick Duffy interview, and then that never happened. So
Oh man.
I'm a little bummed about it. You can only follow up with these people so many times before you're pretty sure they blocked your phone number.
Yeah.
I don't think she'll pick up my call anymore. But she promised. So Linda, hook it up.
Oh man. Well, hopefully she's listening to this.
That would be great, right?
And she will hear that.
She'll be your next interview.
Hey, that'd be awesome. I would not turn her down. That would be great. So, Linda, all you got to do, email me, bradscomedy@yahoo.com, and I will give you all the time you need.
There you go.
Yep. Well, man, I have had a ball with this today. You're welcome on here anytime. All you got to do is holler and say, "Hey, fat boy, I want to talk," and we're on.
Well, we'll actually have to talk about smoking meat next time.
Oh, yeah.
I have a smoker. What kind of smoker do you have?
Right now, I'm just using a Weber kettle.
Okay.
And I'm not the biggest fan of it because I've had a propane smoker. I've had one of the digital electrics, and I'm a fan of a stick burner.
Okay.
The electric I always used when I made sausage because I can keep everything precise.
Mm-hmm.
The propane was really good because it gave a good constant temperature, and it worked great. I just love a stick burner because you got to put the effort in with it.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Now, I've got the Green Mountain Grill, Daniel Boone version, and it's amazing. It's got Wi-Fi. I can be at the grocery store and check my meat. I can be at somebody's house and be like, oh, time for dinner. Let's go.
Yep.
I just love it. So can't recommend that one enough. And I'm not getting paid to say that. I
Nice.
just really love my smoker. I used to have Traeger, but Green Mountain Grills is a step above.
Yeah. See, I can't get behind the pellet grills right now. I understand them, and it's a great concept. To me, how do I put this? A lot of the people who use the pellets are really obnoxious about it, and it gets on my last nerve. And it's
Why?
kind of
Because they're bragging about it, or what?
well, not that they're bragging; they're just really obnoxious about them. A lot of people are, not all of them, just a lot of them. So it's kind of turned me off on wanting a pellet grill.
Interesting.
Yeah, and where
Well,
I'm
I'll
from,
be the one person that's not. I like it, but
yeah,
it's not the only kind of smoking. I get that.
yeah. And where I'm from, they actually make Rectech. So, I don't know. One day I may break down and get one. Who knows? But
All right. Well, next time I come on, we'll share recipes.
that'll work. Do you ever do pork butts?
Oh yeah, all the time. That's how you make great pulled pork.
Yep. Here's what you need to put on your butt next time you make one.
All right, tell me.
Simple rub. Equal parts chili powder and country thyme lemonade mix.
Really?
That's
Are you
it.
kidding?
The sugar in the country thyme caramelizes, and the chili powder gives it just a little bit of spice. And once in a while, I'll inject it with a little bit of lemonade. Man,
I never would have thought to do that.
I've got
lemonade mix.
I've got one rub that has 30 ingredients in it, and it's a great rub. But this one is my go-to. It's simple, takes 2 seconds to make, and everybody loves it.
I'm doing it next time, and I have country thyme lemonade mix in my pantry. So.
Yep.
All right, sounds like a weekend project.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Thank you very much for having me. This has been a blast. I really appreciate it.
Anytime. And in my show notes, I'm going to make sure that I do put for people to go to fancounters.com so they can check it out.
That would be great. Yep, we're available anywhere you're available. So if they're subscribed to you, come on over and subscribe to us too.
Outstanding.